Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back to Real Talk. You're listening to Real Talk. Welcome back. You're listening to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Dan. And our first guest, for the record, is Jarell Betton.
Sorry,
Betton
Jarell.
with B3. Jarell graduated from Idaho State University with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. While
Wait a
being
minute. From what university?
It's Idaho State University.
Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
I thought it was Idaho.
Oh, you're right. The Ohio State. Okay, I get you. I feel you. Idaho State University with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology.
Hey, credit where credit's due, dude.
where he was also a D1 athlete, right? Decathlete. Jarell owns the personal training company B3 and is a bodybuilder as well. During his career, he has overcome 7 knee surgeries. Sharing with us his personal training philosophy is Jarell Betton. Welcome to the show, Jarell.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right.
Oh, thank you.
So when you're not helping people...
You're not having knee surgery.
What are some of your hobbies and interests?
Well, I don't have too much time for other things, but quite a few things that I like to do has to do with kind of more of an artsy side.
Really?
Believe it or not, one of my favorite things, believe it or not, is my wife and I on a road trip. We're blasting the music and we're singing.
Yeah.
You know, love to sing.
Fun.
Love drawing, art.
Where do you like to road trip?
We go to Oregon a lot. We tend to visit all the local bodybuilding shows, network, meet new people around the area, see who's up and coming. And from there, we were just in Oregon last week, and
Nice.
we went down, and we were actually stopped at a show in Olympia, and then went down to Oregon. We like to see her family. She's down there, and vice versa. We go up north or a little across the mountains to Spokane.
So suggestion
Sweet.
for you recently, since you went to Idaho State
Mhm.
University, have you been to Montana?
Yeah, we
'Cause that's
competed
some
at all
awesome-
the Big Sky schools.
So some
yeah.
awesome, that's some awesome road trips up there.
Oh, yeah.
And I just had the random trip this summer to Glacier National Park, and it's just phenomenal. So it's an awesome road trip place.
Cool. So we like to ask our guest about a fond memory in the home you grew up in. What do you got for us?
All right. I grew up in Kirkland, so it's funny hearing you guys talk about the Kirkland place.
communities.
I know it very well. And I lived there since I was 2, and I'd say probably one of my favorite memories in that house was something that kind of a tradition we used to do was we'd come up with just something that we want to eat, right?
Mhm.
And it's always customizable, and we invite friends, family over, and we just go all out and just make as many of that as we can and then feast. And so one of my childhood friends taught me how to make sushi.
Oh, really?
So we'd make 30 sushi rolls,
Wow.
and or we would make custom calzones and do that for a night with friends and family over.
Yeah.
That sounds
That's
fun.
awesome. That's awesome. All right. So what got you into the health and fitness world?
Well, it's a long story.
Well, we've got about
yeah. So when I was 15, I happened to actually grow up obese, and I suffered with a little bit of depression and whatnot. And a lot of my friends happened to start getting into talking to girls and stuff, and I had very low self-confidence. Wouldn't happen. And I had my first crush. I was 15 years old, and I asked her out, and I got turned down.
Uh-oh.
My whole life turned around, and from that point on, I told myself that I knew that I was a good person, and I knew that it wasn't, what I said or what I did. It was the way that I looked, and so I wanted to change that. And I didn't whine about it. I didn't do anything. I just went straight to the books, straight to the computer, started doing research, how to lose weight, how to exercise, what to do, and I lost 70 pounds in 3 months.
Oh,
And
wow.
I became hooked. It became my entire life, nothing but fitness every single day. And, I'm going into high school. My friends don't recognize me. I randomly gained a little bit of athleticism and started playing. I played sports all my life, but it's different when you're not carrying around a weight vest.
When you're feeling good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, my vertical increased like crazy. I all of a sudden couldn't touch the net to could dunk to, oh my gosh,
Wow.
what's going on? And that kind of just where me and the gym and working out, became one, and started growing up and up and up and up. And then, as I said, I grew up obese, and I went to Idaho State as a decathlete, and I was ranked 11th in the nation at one point when I was in Arizona. And it was, a lot of battles and stuff, but fitness and health is gotten me to where I am today for sure.
That's great. So what are some of the struggles you've had with your knee? You mentioned that earlier.
What haven't I struggled with my knee? So I've had 7 knee surgeries on my left knee. It started in high school with basketball. I was just playing one-on-one in PE with one of my buddies. I landed on his foot and my knee popped.
Ooh, ouch.
And that's how it started, and it wasn't too big of a deal. I healed. I got my surgery, rehab strong, came back stronger. Actually, my first 3 or 4 surgeries, each one I came back stronger and faster and able to jump higher. It was odd. But then as I went on, it started going backwards, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And started, surgery after this. Okay, let's take out more of the meniscus. Okay, now you have no meniscus. Let's go. And then it's a little bit different when you're in school for free, and then track is year round and you're expected so much, but at the same time, like, you want to give it your all. I know how much value it is to have school free, so I would do anything that it took to be able to keep that,
to get back to health so that you can keep competing.
Yeah, to just stay strong. And sometimes, that's what also hindered me, and I'd come back, too fast or too hard or wanting it because I can outwork a lot of people. And it just came to snapping. And then I was at indoor conference in Northern Arizona, and I was high jumping and my leg finally gave and my knee snapped, and it was a pretty big deal. And I had to be on crutches and a wheelchair for a year.
For a year?
Yeah, 9 months. Yeah,
Jeez.
9 months. I was on a waiting list for a cadaver. So to answer your question,
Knee replacement?
no replacement. I had a transplant.
Oh, wow.
So I actually have a cadaver's knee.
Oh, wow.
And there's a lot of complications with that. The doctor said that I'd have disability my whole life, and me in running and me in athletics wouldn't be a thing.
So how long ago was that?
That was 5 years ago now.
5 years ago.
4 years ago, 4.5.
And so from that time moving forward, that was 9 months to heal
9
from
months,
that?
yes.
Okay.
9
And
months.
what motivated you? What kept you going?
At that time, once again, it was a really hard time in my life. But what's always kept me going is myself. I had doctors telling me, this and that. You have outside sources, your mom telling you this, but I wasn't going to let any of that happen. I'm too young. I've worked too hard to achieve the things that I have. And I went to work 5 days after my transplant.
Oh, wow.
I took my pills, dumped them down the toilet. One of my best friends moved here to help me. He moved here back with me from Idaho to help me because I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything. And he took me to the gym. We went to the gym every single day, 5 days after my surgery.
Jeez.
Wow.
And I just started working upper body. We would come up with exercises. I graduated with a kinesiology degree. I learned a couple things.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're coming up with exercises when I'm sitting on a bench. We're balancing my leg up on this, doing all kinds of things. And slowly I started healing, really fast. And to this date, fast forward, I've achieved every single thing that the doctors claimed that I would never. I've hit the weights I've wanted to lift. At 250 pounds, I've even done a standing backflip on the ground.
Like now?
Yeah, I'm 250 pounds right now. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
A lot
That
of
is
inertia
fantastic.
there.
So bodybuilding.
Yeah,
and-
why bodybuilding now?
Bodybuilding now because I guess, as I told you, when my fitness journey started with me just wanting to lose weight at first. Then that happened. Then I became an athlete, and I wanted to be the best athlete. So actually, most of my years when I've been in the gym working out every day has not been to necessarily grow muscle, even though you do grow. I've been training to be a better athlete. I want to be faster. I want to be stronger, than my opponents. I want to jump higher. All those things to help me with my sport as a decathlete. You got to be well-rounded. You can't just have speed. You got to have endurance. You got to, be all over the place. And once that kind of got taken away from me, there's no way. Like, you can't take an athlete out of an athlete. It's, what can I push for? What can I do?
Yeah.
I can lift weights comfortably and never get hurt ever. Let me just focus onto this as hard as I have in other things and see where it can take me. And I've fallen in love with it. My wife's a professional bodybuilder, so that helps, motivate you a little bit. to try and catch up to that level.
Right.
But I feel like I'm pretty close, and if I keep working at it, I'm thinking this 2020 year is going to be the year that I turn pro and continue on with bodybuilding.
So you have this business B3.
Correct.
And B3 is where you help others kind of take what you've learned and become more fit, more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit more about the philosophy there.
So B3 stands for Build Better Bodies. We created that and believe in that because that's what it takes. You have to build what it is that you want with your physique.
Mm-hmm.
You can take whatever magic pill you think is going to do what. If you don't eat correctly, if you don't train correctly and know how to do it, you're not going to build the way that you want. And that's why it's so important. So we take our training, and it's different because we're knowledge-based, experience-based, not just what a book says or this, and spent so many years seeing what works for us, what works for others, with training, and to get other people where they want, all ages. We have 70-year-olds. I've worked with second graders.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Everyone has their own spot.
Awesome.
So you specialize in teaching mind-body connection while training. What is that?
So how I like to explain it is from an outsider's perspective. As a personal trainer, right? You can correct form, right? You can say, your knees are tracking forward. Let's push the glutes back, right? But what you can't see is what muscles are dominating the lift. And I actually like to use like a lat pull down as a good example. From an outsider's perspective, your chest could be elevated. You can be pulling, right? And then someone will be done with the set. And you're like, oh, my biceps are killing me. And it's like, well, your biceps should be your secondary movers, not your lats. But it looked perfect, right?
Right.
So it's hitting the muscles. It's telling people where to pull from, what to contract, and how to, get them and set up in correct body positions to, therefore you are using your bis very, very minimal, and therefore you're pulling from your lats the muscle you want to, which is the big muscle that you want to try and grow.
Yeah. So when you think about it, you go to a gym, right? There's all the equipment, whether you do free weights or you do a system, whatever it is, you have no idea what kind of feedback you should be getting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the benefit of having somebody like yourself who's experienced it, who can then also say, tell me what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And then put that mental feel. I do CrossFit. I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a choir geek in high school, not an athlete, not something that I did. But one of the things that I've found when you get to high intensity and weight training, there's more mental game.
Oh, for sure.
More mental
Oh,
game
yeah.
than just going out there and lifting something heavy.
Yep.
And it keeps me sharp. And it's something, Monday, we had a great workout, and I came home and got ready and left, and I hadn't even had a cup of coffee. I got up at like 5 in the morning to go work out, and it was like 9:30 before I was like, oh, maybe I should have a cup of coffee. And I think that's because of the firing of the brain and the synapses and the endorphins you get from working out. It's a great, that mental aspect is, it's you shouldn't overlook it, because especially in a demanding job, demanding position, you need to be able to be at your best mentally. And the exercise brings that balance.
And the energy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So who would be your ideal client?
My ideal client, I'm glad you asked this, because a lot of people think that I only work with bodybuilders. People see my Instagram and stuff, and they're like, oh, like you only work with intense athletes or something. That's not true at all. Probably the category that I have most worked with when it comes to clients is probably older women between 45 to 70.
Mm-hmm.
And I've worked with a basketball club training second and third graders up through high school, of all, boys and girls, each individual team, select teams. And my ideal client is anyone that wants to change their life and put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hardest part, is anyone can say that they want something, but it's different to be told something and actually do it.
Oh, that's great. How do our listeners get a hold of you?
Instagram, my phone, Jarell_Betton, and then my phone number is 206-755-2058. And you can DM me, text me, call me anytime, and we can talk.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
great.
you for coming in, Jarell. Thanks for sharing your story. We appreciate it.
Of course.
All right. After the break, we're going to have Greg Summers Harville of Flying Gecko Productions And Greg's going to be talking about Flying Gecko Productions and how it helps broadcast your passion. Please come back and see us after the break.